Welcome back, everybody, to Desert Valley Blitz Coach's Corner edition. Today, we got a real special guest. We're real excited because we got the newest member of our coaching community in the house. Most of our community would know this guy by his playing days. He was one of the premier athletes in the mid 2000s here, but now he's moving into a different role as the new head coach of Shadow Hills. Mr. Nick King, man, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you guys having me on. Really appreciate it.
I mean, if you've been paying attention to high school football here in like the last 20 years, they know who you are. We watched you play when you're younger, but what made you want to get involved in coaching? Like, how did we get here?
Yeah, honestly, just once I kind of started and got done playing with myself, ended up getting my teaching credential and just started teaching and fell in love with it and realized that, I could make a positive impact and change some of these kids' lives. So especially coaching, that's a great way to do it, through sports.
Might be the best.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, I would just say just got started with just wanting to make a positive change, wanting to change.
I think that might be the best answer, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's why,
it's relationships.
That's the real reason to do anything is the love and the education you can give kids. We know you as a 3-sport star, though, so I want to hear. You were a killer on the football field. I had the displeasure of having a game plan against you there for a couple of years. I was at Indio, and you were running all over us, man.
Yeah.
But you were like recruited in 3 sports.
Yeah.
You ultimately chose baseball, correct? I want to hear the story why that. We want to hear your little background. Why'd you choose baseball, and how that kind of career took you?
Yeah. So it was just kind of at the time. My baseball coach really, I felt like really fought for me at that time, so it was just one of those things where he told me that there was going to be coaches coming and coaches, and at the time I had been waiting for so long at this time I was at baseball season. So I had been waiting for football and basketball for the, some scholarships to come. And, it ended up just kind of falling through. So ended up choosing baseball, went to Riverside Community College, which is a pretty big league, at the junior college level.
Yeah, one of the best, right?
Yeah. So chose that, and after that ended up going to University of Georgia and, playing with the Pirates for a little bit and had a spring training with the Braves. So, a lot of experience.
You had a minor league career for a couple of years then, huh?
Yeah. So I had 2 years with the Pirates, and then I had a spring training with the Braves. Played a bunch of independent baseball, a bunch of places, ultimately before, coming back and getting into teaching.
Yeah. So you're relatively new to you were still an athlete there for a while,
there's
right?
probably 7 years, I came back probably 7 years ago from playing myself, and then just kind of been coaching ever since, at Palm Springs. So,
I mean, you were a professional baseball player.
Yeah.
Why come back to football, man? Football's not. There's a lot more guys to coach in football. It's a lot more violent sport. Why'd you kind of choose to come back to football to coach? You could have probably did all 3, right? You probably could have did basketball.
Yeah.
You could have probably did baseball. Obviously, you were professional. Why football? I mean, what was it about the game?
So I think ultimately with baseball, how everything played out for me personally, I feel like I just have a kind of a bad taste, just in general with the sport.
Okay.
And, zooming out, I understand that that's not the right viewpoint to look at it,
right.
From.
Yeah.
But I think, thinking about it from a coaching standpoint, X's and O's, and when you're having your team and going against other coaches, I think you can see it a little bit more in football from a coaching aspect of who's, or just the fact that I think you can make a bigger difference.
Yeah.
And if you're high school baseball and you have 2 arms, it could be someone's dad, it could be someone's, and that team's going to be pretty good.
Right.
So I think with football, it's a little bit more strategy, a little bit more X's and O's. And I think from a coaching standpoint, you can get your, I think your mastery level, your genius out more. It's viewed more.
Yeah. I never thought of it that way.
People can see it more.
Yeah.
It's true though. In football, you do get to put your finger on the scale who wins and who lost.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think some coaching matchups or things. I think it comes out a little bit more in football.
So it's more fun.
Yeah, you know.
That's more competitive for you, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're like, hey, I
Still
don't need
competing.
that. Yeah, I want to compete, and I'm just gonna compete with this headset on.
Yeah, and anytime I was at any of the places that I went to, whether it was Georgia or anywhere, I always looked at the better teams, like who's the best team in that, and then I would always like, okay, how do they act? How are their
Yeah.
coaches? How do they carry themselves? Like, what are they doing? You know?
I love that.
Yeah. So while
Yeah.
I'm playing,
Mhm.
you know, I felt like I was on the same wavelength or same coaching aspect as some of those coaches
Yeah.
at that high of level.
Yeah.
You
They're
know?
already the best at whatever they're doing. Let's try to emulate them a little bit
Yeah.
and learn from them.
Yeah, I
And I
remember
love
being at
that.
Georgia and Vanderbilt was probably the best school, and I just
Mhm.
remember playing and, you know, kind of being on the same thoughts as Tim Corbin. You know, he's the coach at Vanderbilt, but I was like, yeah, I think like that too.
Yeah.
Like I would do that too in this
Yeah.
situation.
Right.
You know,
That's
so
how
I
you
think
learn.
that's kind of
Yeah.
really where I chose, you know, coaching ultimately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
You were already a coach as a player then, huh? You were starting to
yeah,
make
I
that.
think
You're
I
starting
was
to
a
make that
little.
transition
Yeah,
as
I
a
think
player, huh?
I think I was when I was young, even too. I was just a little bit more always mature for my age.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't always into like the playing around or the, you know, some of the things that I would say kids, you know,
Mm-hmm.
do or go through.
Yeah.
Um, you know, but I was just always, you know, respectful and kind.
Right. And that's going to help you in this line of work, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
You know,
yeah,
and pushing that onto your players is something, you know, I think you're probably shooting to do, right?
yeah, yeah,
Bring that to your new family over here at Shadow Hill. So let's
yeah.
talk about your coaching career a little bit. So
Okay.
you know, you graduate, you left baseball, decided,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna get my teacher credential, take the education path, which is very commendable, and
Yeah.
teaching the youth. You're a teacher now. How do you get back into? You know, how's that work? How'd you get back into you know, because you've been an assistant coach for a couple of years now on the side.
Yeah.
How'd that kind of work out? What was the path for that?
Yeah. So ultimately came back and got my teaching credential, and I was in PE and ended up getting a job at Raymond Cree,
Okay.
which is a middle school out in North Palm Springs. And then I did taught there. This is my 4th year
Okay.
that we're going on. And yeah, just when we went to I coached football and basketball at the high school. And then I was really good friends with Coach Murph. And so was my dad.
Was he your
so
coach
was-
in high school?
Yeah.
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 Right. Okay.
Fabian was the head coach, but he was the offensive line coach.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we already had a kind of a good relationship, and I had been going since I was in probably 6th grade. After school,
Right.
I would take the bus, and I was at any practice that the high school had.
Really?
Yeah.
Even in middle school,
Yeah,
huh?
sixth grade.
Wow.
You know, I would take that sun bus, and you know, my mom would pick me up after she got off, but I'd be in, you know, like the locker rooms. I'd be trying
Really?
to practice with the teams.
Yeah.
I was in
You
there.
were
You were already on the
man.
team in junior
Yeah.
high
Yeah,
then,
you
huh?
know,
Okay.
I was involved. So ultimately came back and talked to Coach Murph, and then he put me on staff, you know, immediately, and then just did varsity special teams, did running backs, did miscellaneous stuff on varsity with
Mm-hmm.
Coach Murph, and then Coach Darrell had taken over, and then
Mhm.
me and Coach Darrell had talked, and ended up being the JV head coach.
Okay.
You know, and
All
I
right.
think he was kind of preparing me for something like this.
Yeah.
You know, so when we had the conversation, it was all respect. It wasn't, you know, oh, you're going down or anything like
Yeah.
that. It was like, actually, no, we actually need you down there. You know,
It's
all the
important.
incoming
Yeah, it's important.
and
To,
yeah, the levels and the progression from freshman, sophomore to juniors and seniors was a big deal.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought it helped. You know,
I
last
like the
couple
JV
years.
level sometimes because it gives you a little bit of freedom to do your own thing a little bit. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
you got to emulate a little bit of the varsity, but for the most part, you kind of get to try things your way a little bit down there.
Yeah, and
That-
there
I
was
enjoy it.
yeah, it was fun, and there was things that I appreciated about just kind of being by myself, you
Mhm.
know, and kind of getting me ready for this.
Yep.
Is like I could kind of run it how I wanted,
Yep.
you know, stuff like that. So, yeah, I was just real appreciative of kind of everything.
For me, I'm a geek when it comes to football. What side of the
Yeah.
ball do you like? Do you like offense or defense? We all kind of
Yeah.
gravitate
Yeah,
towards one or the
obviously.
Yeah,
other.
so
Always.
I'm definitely, I would say, offensive minded.
There you go.
Just from a X's and O's
hmm
alignment standpoint. You know, but I do understand the importance of defense,
Yeah, oh
man, and
yeah,
what
oh
a
yeah.
defensive coordinator can do. But
Mhm.
ultimately, to be real, it's the trenches. You know,
Yeah,
it's
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 where
the
it's
O
won.
line and D
Yeah,
line.
yeah.
Honestly,
The
Always.
most important coach to hire.
it's
Yeah.
for some reason these position players and people think
Yep.
it's them, but
Nope.
man, you got to focus on the trenches, and
Yep.
that's where it's won.
So those big
You know.
guys, it gives those big guys a chance to shine too. It's at a sport, you know.
Yeah,
So
and they
I
need to hear it.
yeah,
They
yeah.
need to feel it. They need to know that they're
The most
appreciated.
important people on the team.
It
Yeah,
literally,
yeah. So
you know.
yeah, it's dope.
Palm Springs, man. I hear you're a Palm Springs lifer, huh?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah, that
so
was home.
in your new position now as the head coach of Shadow Hills.
Yeah.
What's that first game going to be like when you see Palm Springs on the schedule and you're going to be wearing a different color, man? That's
Yeah,
going to be kind
so
of a trip, right?
I've thought about it, and I've come to the realization two things. One, it's one game a year,
Yeah.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
can't put so much emotion into it that I'm
Mhm.
forgetting about the 9 other games.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's one game, and then I think too, just taking emotion out. Like at the end of the day, like when I'm watching film, I'm not focusing on, Tyler or Tank, like their
Yeah.
Yeah.
names.
Yeah.
I'm focusing on 21 and
Yeah.
1. And so just taking a different viewpoint, and not putting so much emotion into it.
Yeah, I think that's
I think that's,
yeah.
will help a lot.
Yeah. It's
You know?
weird. I'll tell you just from being an idiot guy. It's
Yeah.
weird to be on the other sideline sometimes. And
Yeah.
you had to go through it as well. It's
Yeah.
part of
Yeah.
like the stepping stone as a coach is when you move a little bit and seeing
Yeah.
your team you bled and sweat for and you're actually
Yeah.
rooting against them that night is kind of an odd situation. But I think
Yeah.
for you as a professional, you're gonna get over it pretty quick because you got a
Yeah.
job. You got a job to do as well. You
Yeah.
know? So it's gonna be kind of cool though because I know
Yeah.
your family. I mean, even your parents are from Palm
Oh, yeah,
Springs, correct? I
everybody.
saw something that your parents were 3 sport
Yeah,
lettermans
yeah.
at Palm
Both of
Springs
them,
too,
yeah.
right? So
Wow.
so they're gonna have to sit on the opposite sideline one night
Yeah.
a year as well, right? So
Yeah.
it's a family thing, huh?
Yeah. No, it's like I said, it was so tough. It was so sad. Especially like my middle school kids and just everybody, like however it is personal growth.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not like a lateral movement, or it's not
Mm-mm.
like I'm going to somewhere lesser or anything like that. Like it's a step up. It's
Yep.
growth. I think sometimes change is good.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I think being uncomfortable or growing, is what's needed.
100%.
And I think it's what's needed for me too.
Yeah. Looking to upgrade your home? Tile Designs by Fina is your one-stop destination for beautiful flooring, hard surfaces, and countertops. From timeless design, modern styles, they've got the perfect look for every room. Stop by today and transform your space with Tile Designs by Fina. Let's design together. Are you involved in the scheduling already?
Yeah.
So you're already kind of making
Yeah,
those
yeah.
decisions? What's going to be? Have you thought about your philosophy? We've heard different things about how coaches are scheduling because of
Yeah.
the new algorithm that
Yeah.
everybody's talking about at the playoff level. So there's
Yeah.
different theories on how to schedule. What is your kind of approach to that?
I think first initially I would like to be 4-1 or 5-0 going into league.
Yeah.
Any losses I would like to take in league.
Okay. Yeah.
Just from a first thought process.
Yeah.
However, though, sometimes scheduling and kind of how late it was, or some things that you just can't control.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So we got tough week 0 game, got tough, games.
Do you know who you open with?
Yeah, so I'll probably open up with Esperanza.
Oh,
out of Anaheim.
you're
Coming
going
out
to,
hot.
yeah, man, you're
Yeah.
going over
Throwing
to
in
the
the
hill,
fire,
man.
yeah. Go.
You're going to
so we
Orange
have-
County for
yeah.
the first one.
They're coming to us. So they
Okay,
got,
all right, that helps a little bit.
I'm in
We
the
got the
seat.
heat.
But they got some
you
big
know?
boys at Esperanza.
Yeah.
man.
I know.
Yeah, so it was similar. Looking at their last year's season, they had lost to Segerstrom, and so being at Palm Springs, we had played Segerstrom.
Okay, so you kind of
So
knew.
it's somewhat similar kids.
Yeah.
And so that kind of made me breathe a little bit, like,
Yeah.
okay, but at the same time, I feel like I'm ready for the fire. I'm built for that. So,
Right.
yeah, it's them and Ukaipa.
That's
First
tough too.
2 out of 5.
That's
2
tough
out of
too.
5.
Okay.
Let's go.
Hey, you're gonna find out
Yeah.
quick.
Yeah.
You're gonna find out quick
Yeah.
what we got, right?
Yeah. So I think but talking to the kids and just talking to everybody at Shadow, it's one of those things where I think they like that.
Right.
Yeah.
They like the
talking to them.
challenge.
Yeah, they
It
want
makes you
that.
better.
Yeah. And I think ultimately building this, preseason, I would like 5, monsters of
Tough,
games,
huh?
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
you know, in the
Armstrong's.
future, yeah.
Yeah. He wants
You know,
to play the
it's
best and
yeah,
then make league easy.
yeah.
When
I
you get the
mean,
league.
it's getting kids exposure. It's letting them see what's, you know,
Mm-hmm.
good expected, you know, good
Mhm.
high school football, you
Yeah.
know, and so if they want to kind of be like that, then we got to experience it a little bit,
Right.
you know.
And
Yes.
you'll know. I mean, you'll know what you
Oh
got
yeah,
going in the league, right?
oh yeah,
There'll be no question marks.
Yeah.
yeah,
Like you
that's
know
for
what you
sure.
are at this point. So that's
Yeah,
pretty cool
and
that
I
you're
think our
already.
league is growing, man. I think our league is
Yeah.
just getting stronger and
It
We're,
is.
stronger.
we're catching up.
You
It
know,
is.
Yeah.
the kids coming in and everybody kind of, you know, committed to these schools, and I think it's growing.
Yeah.
You know, definitely down here in the valley.
Yeah, there's no easy games in the
Yeah,
DEL,
exactly.
man.
No.
There's no cupcakes,
Yeah,
no easy games. You're gonna have to bring it.
yeah,
Otherwise,
They're in middle school working on their skills already.
yeah,
When we played, it wasn't like that.
yeah,
We played
yeah,
different
yeah.
sports and stuff, but
yeah, they're specializing at a very
starting to
early
show on the
age.
field.
But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
I think we're kind of got a nice little group of talent coming through as a generation right
oh
now.
yeah.
So
This is the
got to take
time,
advantage, right? We got to
yeah,
take advantage. So
yeah,
Shadow Hill. So I know you haven't been on the scene that long, but I'm sure you've already kind of thought about all this. Like we'll kind of get into some philosophical stuff. Shadow
yeah,
Hills from last year from Palmer, known for their defense. You know,
yeah,
Palmer
yeah,
was a defensive guy.
yeah,
He was very good on the defensive
Yeah.
side, and then they spread it out with those athletes, and they throw the ball all over the place.
yeah.
What philosophical things are you thinking that you would like to see, or are you just going to keep everything the same? What are you kind of thinking? I know it's early, but I'm sure you've
Yeah.
already thought about all this stuff.
Yeah, so I think the first thing will be like our alignment. You know, offensively, like X's and O's. Like I want to run the ball. If we're running the ball 30 times, it's going to be from a different formation
Okay,
each time.
so it's
Yeah.
not going to look the same.
No, not at all. You
Puts a lot
know,
of pressure on that DC too.
yeah, and you know if they're I like kind of offset lines a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I kind of like tight ends. Kind of like, you know, a wing back that's going
Yeah.
back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, and I like kind of overloading one side and having a tight end on the other. And if the defense moves over, then
Yeah, a little
you know,
unbalanced.
so I feel like putting teams in spots where they have to make a decision.
Yeah.
And if they don't make that decision and they don't correct it, well, we're overloaded on one side.
Yeah.
Like we got to, you know. And then just different discipline stuff, different principles, you know, like we got to be able to go on two. We got to be able to go first sound. You know, I
Mhm.
don't always want to be in shotgun. I don't always want to be, you know, in the same thing
Yeah.
every time.
Mm-hmm.
But I got to see, you know, these kids as they're out there.
Yeah.
And I think the best thing
It's
a
true.
coach can do is it's different from college and high school. There's some high school coaches that kind of take that college philosophy where it's like their playbook. They're running the same thing, even if those kids don't fit that playbook.
Yeah.
Right.
So looking at it from a standpoint of I got to see them first. How can we put them in the best spots
Yeah.
where they can shine
Right.
and they can go? You know, so I think just I think the philosophy is obviously just you know, ball control. You know,
Oh, so
just,
you're gonna run the ball a little bit
Yeah.
more this year,
well,
huh?
yeah, just time management.
Yeah.
You know, just understanding possessions and
Okay.
understanding like
Yeah.
time management and
Mhm.
control and you know, not playing safe, you know, but I think just understanding what the game needs at that time.
Yeah.
I don't think one game is going to be the same one way or the other.
Okay.
You know, I think going from you know, full house to empty is good. You
Mhm.
know, I think if you can kind of mix it up and see what the defense is in and what are they good at.
Right.
You know, if
Yep.
they're good at stopping the run, we'll probably
Right.
spread it out. If
Yeah.
they, you know, if their skills players are a little bit better, you know, we'll probably pound the rock.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, so just looking at it, and it won't just be me. You know, it'll be our coaching staff.
Mhm.
We'll have a lot of conversations. We'll have a lot of, you know, and I don't have any type of ego. You know, if the janitor sees something
Yeah,
that
yeah.
hey man,
I love
like
that.
hey,
Yeah.
you know, I'm taking everybody's
Opinion.
yeah,
Yeah.
into consideration.
Yeah.
But
you
you're
know?
the choice maker, but you'll listen to everyone's opinion and then
Yeah, and as they tell
ultimately-
me, I filter it.
Yep.
I know
yep.
what I like and
And
don't
then
like and
Mhm.
want to
They'll
use.
they'll
and
rally
use.
around your choice, whatever
Yeah,
you choose.
because
So.
at the end of the day, man, everyone wants to feel wanted.
I know.
You know,
Yeah,
everyone
that's
wants
true.
to feel love.
It
That's
makes
true,
them
man.
coach better. They're more invested when,
Oh,
when
yeah.
they get a little say.
Absolutely.
And
You know?
I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt that.
There's a skill to that.
So
from
I'm
a
in.
head
I'm
coach.
from what you're saying, I'm picturing a little bit of Palm Springs offense.
That's what I was thinking too. I was like, I think you're giving a lot of Palm Springs.
Yeah. So it
man.
will be the same
Wing,
terminology.
Yeah.
But I think there's different athletes and different things that we can do.
You're gonna make it your own for sure.
Oh yeah,
right? And you got different guys than you would have at Palm Springs.
I love it.
Yeah.
So
it's different.
And you're right. I mean, at the high school level, we can't go out and recruit guys that fit our system.
No.
Right? We just gotta whoever shows up on that first day of practice, that's what we got. And we gotta build our system around.
Colleges usually have a good
talent.
batch of kids already that know how to play football.
Man,
So
we're not
do anything.
Oh, I'm running a 3-4. Well, do you have a 3-4 bodies to run?
You got inside back that can clean up at the spill.
I think you're starting from a good place, knowing that.
Yeah,
we're not able to really pick and choose who's coming to our schools. We just got to work with what we got. So to not pigeonhole yourself early and say, "Oh, I got this system that works everywhere." Man, it's like whoever I get, that's what whoever I get, we can do
creative,
well.
Man. You have to have a good imagination, to be successful, especially offensively. You guys are creative over there, man. I like the defensive side. I'm like just ground and pound. Just keep it simple, stupid. But that was the same thing. Even when I played, like. That was Fabe's mastery when he was coaching, was the art of alignment.
I remember they ran a ton of sets, different
sets. Yeah, but they were running the same plays.
I know.
Exactly. When you watch it, but as a DC, you got to prepare how to line up.
Yeah,
you have to spend 15 minutes on just alignment, to the formation alignment. I remember Palm Springs was the worst because you had like freaking 8, 9, 10 formations you had to prepare for.
It takes a long time.
And it took me like half the practice.
Linebackers on the right side are lined right because they got a wing on that side all of a sudden.
And they run the same plays. So it's the philosophy is really good though, because it does give the other guys on the side of the ball kind of a fit. So that's kind of that's part of the chess match, right?
Yeah.
That's part of the fun of it,
Yeah. So and I really paid attention, even when I was playing, so I think that helps a lot too.
You're taking notes back then. Yeah.
So just trying to see, okay, well, what did I like? What I did not like? What could we have done better? What really, really worked? What we were successful at?
Yeah.
So I think just taking all those things into consideration and adding them,
You guys were 13-0 that year, and then you lost in the
final.
But who did you lose to?
Rancho Verde.
Good program.
Was that
good program?
Was he the head coach?
At that time,
Oh,
he's pretty good.
But I will say, though, I do think that year, that's where scheduling a tougher preseason would have helped us. I think that was the first game where we saw any of those type of athletes.
Yeah.
You saw guys that were as good as you, right?
Man. Yeah.
They were really good back then. People forget about how good they were.
4 solid receivers, that
fast guys
deep,
that can,
a quarterback that was 6'4" that could stay in there and just.
And they had great system too. They had plays that worked really nice. They beat La Quinta about that time period too. I don't know if it was the same year, but it was around that time period. And I remember going, geez, it's a different level right here.
Yeah.
They were good.
In that year, and I think too, like the kids that were around there, I think I would say that was the only time we were a little frustrated, where it was like, okay, at that time I think La Quinta had played Mission Viejo my senior year, and there were some other schools, but like it was like, okay, well, if we're beating some of these teams, like let us go play them. Let us I guess try
compete,
it out. But I think that year was like, 29 Palms and some other schools, and which I'm not knocking or anything.
Yeah, you had a great year.
It was just one of those things where that was the first game where like we were exposed to that stuff.
Yeah.
So
would have been better to get one under your belt earlier, right?
Yeah, just to see, just to kind of test us where we were at. But
I think that's already moving into your coaching brain, man. How you're going to be for your philosophy on scheduling, man.
Yeah, and I think that's one of those things is anything I'm saying or anything I'm preaching to the kids or parents or anything, it's coming just from experience. It's not, there's no ego involved. There's no emotion involved. Like I'm not trying to like go one way or the other. Like I'm just telling you what it is. I'm just telling you
this is what I learned.
What I know.
Yeah.
Like, so.
I like that.
Yeah. You kind of spoke to it already, but we've all had help along our journey. We've all had guys that kind of took us under the wing when they didn't have to. Who are some of your mentors, and who are some guys you kind of look up to in the coaching game? Tired of payroll headaches? iPay Solutions is your local payroll and HR partner right here in the Coachella Valley. From direct deposits to compliance, we handle the details so you can focus on growing your business. iPay Solutions, local, reliable, and built for your success.
Got dirty carpets, tile, or furniture? Trust the Carpet and Tile Care Company, your family-run experts. We bring sparkle back to your home with top-notch cleaning services, reliable, affordable, and eco-friendly. Call us today. We can be reached at carpetcare.co. Phone number 760-773-5882.
So I definitely, think Fabe, Fabe really,
legend,
yeah,
right?
I think he was,
Get him in here one time, huh?
Yeah, he's legend.
yeah, I think he was very good offensively.
Yeah.
I think he was a very good mind, and he took a lot of time. And that was those days when technology wasn't like
Like it is
crazy.
today. Yeah,
So
right?
he was doing everything, taking extra hours, taking extra amount of time, going and Murph,
Yeah.
obviously Coach Darryl, honestly everybody at the Palm Springs staff and
They've been together a long time over there.
Yeah.
Staff.
and my coaches at Georgia and Riverside and all these places, high school, all three sports, all three coaches were very good,
Yeah.
and so I learned from all of them,
Yeah.
just different things, so I think it's just a collection of all the people that kind of helped me along the way. And that's kind of, I feel, how I'm expressing myself. It's not just me saying something, like it's a collection. It's
Yeah.
everybody putting their opinions and ideas, and I'm taking what's good, what I like, and what I don't like,
Right.
and
Yeah.
okay, when I have my own program, I don't really want to do that, I
Mhm.
might want to do it differently,
Right.
so I think just yeah, man, there's a lot of people.
Yeah. There's
You know?
always people that help us along the way.
And it's
man.
not just coaches, like, family, mom, teachers, who I work with, and just anybody, man. I'm always trying to learn.
Yeah. I
And,
think that's the best approach.
yeah, you have to. You can't be closed-minded.
Yeah,
Especially
I always-
if you want growth.
Yeah. I always like Armstrong asked me to coach a long time ago, and it kind of turned on that coaching brain.
Yeah.
The way I explain it is like I just like find gems from different people and I pick them up
Mhm.
off the ground. I put them in my pocket for later.
Yeah.
And I just keep going, And
Yeah.
at the end of like 20 years, I'm like, yeah, I
You got
got
a
a lot
lot-
of
yeah,
stuff in
you
my
got a lot.
pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
That's a good
Yeah.
way. That's a good
And it's
analogy.
awesome too because it never runs out.
yeah.
There's things that you could know from 10 years ago, and somebody who you coached or somebody that was 10 years ago, this kid exactly reminds you exactly
Yes.
of.
Mm.
Yeah.
And however you fixed or however this kid went wrong,
Mhm.
now you kind of have a better feel of,
I've done this
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
I've seen this before. Yeah, it was a while ago, but this is how we did it. And
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that pops up a lot in sports. I got a kid, I'm coaching right now, and he's kind of running with his neck, and I'm like, God, dude, you got to loosen up a little bit,
Yeah,
So, but it's hard to coach, it's hard to get the, he's only, 11 years old, so
Yeah.
I'm trying to, but
Yeah.
just to tag onto that point, and there's a lot of things you can learn, and then you'll re-see, and I love that about coaching too.
Yeah.
You had mentioned your week 0 game.
Yeah.
We had already talked to Doc. We had
Mhm.
Doc in here a couple weeks ago. No
Yeah.
Mayor's Cup this year, and I know
Yeah.
you're a West Side guy, man. But on the East Side, that
Yeah.
was kind of a big deal for us old Indio guys.
Yeah.
Do you see that game coming back at some point? I mean, I know they're taking a little hiatus because of the movements of the leagues and all that stuff. But
Okay. Yeah.
but do you see that coming back as something that the community? I know us Indio
Yeah.
guys, we want it back on schedule because we want to win one of those damn cups.
Yeah.
We haven't won one yet,
Yeah.
so I want to see us win one. So, or is
Yeah.
that something you as a staff and or you guys are
I mean,
looking
I
at?
don't have any, I guess, opinions on it or,
Right.
but I was kind of just told, like, they're not on our schedule.
Yeah, well, nothing to do with you.
Yeah.
It was a scheduling quirk. I think
Yeah.
that's kind of how it was explained to me. But
Yeah.
it was a pretty big game in the community. So I'm just.
But yeah,
At some point, Indio is going to be up to your guys' level, hopefully, to kind of give you guys a game, make that game worth watching.
I would definitely love that.
Yeah.
It's again, like, especially in that community,
Yeah.
like it brings all those people together.
it does.
It brings, both schools. It brings
Memories.
alumni. It
Yeah.
bring, you know what I mean? So just connecting that Indio community, that Indio culture, it is a big deal.
Yeah.
And so I do think, we should, we should bring it back.
Hear that? Let's bring it back.
Let's
Yeah.
bring it- I mean, yeah, I know
Pound
maybe
the table.
next year
Yeah.
it's not on the table, but maybe 2 years from now.
Yeah,
And hopefully India will be in a place where we can
I think they will
give
too.
you guys,
They're
I think
making
they're
moves
headed in
over
the right
there.
direction. We can give you guys some competition. But that's
Yeah.
from an old Indio guy, we definitely would love to see
Yeah.
that coming back, man. So one thing as a new head coach, relatively new head coach, you gotta first order of business is filling out your staff.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
you doing on that? How's that
Yeah,
looking for you?
so-
You looking to add more? You already got it? What's
Yeah.
your status on that?
Yeah, so next week will kind of be interviews,
Okay.
and then I'll meet the team and stuff.
Okay.
So we're kind of starting to get the ball rolling. I've
All
already
right.
been talking to people, phone calls, stuff like that.
Yeah,
with the
because
coaching
I'm
staff.
sure you got guys that you already
Oh,
have
yeah.
worked with that are coming with you, but
Yeah,
that's
so,
a
yeah.
big deal, man. That's the
Yeah.
hardest part sometimes, right?
Yeah, so mixing just some of the old with the new, and just a lot of the kids who they liked, what, and again, especially because it's new and first time, like, I'm not scared to ask for help.
Mm,
Like, I'm finding a trusted person out there, and how do you feel about this person? What do you think?
right.
Okay, like, let's make a collective effort. I'm pretty good on intuition,
Mhm.
just meeting people for the
Mhm.
first time, stuff
Yeah.
like that. But it's gonna be a blank, fresh page, and I think that's kind of the best thing.
Yeah.
No one from Palm Springs is coming, so like I said, finding trusted people out there,
Yeah.
and just people who want to work,
Yeah.
and um I I want some people that are a little bit older that have been there for a while,
Yeah.
right? And then a little bit of younger who um are out that way, but they're hungry.
They wanna learn.
They're eager, and
And I got that energy, man.
Yeah.
Us old cats, we might not have the energy every day
Yeah.
anymore.
yeah, but that experience and knowing people and knowing things, so I think that combo and that mix of having some older experience and that with some of the newer, and having that combo, to me, I feel like that's the recipe.
Yeah, and that's what
know?
you're gonna kind of be looking for. So anybody interviewing, you
Yeah.
heard it here, man.
Yeah, yeah.
You just heard what coach is
Some
looking for,
opportunity
man.
out there.
Opportunities out there for some of you guys to get some pretty high, some pretty good jobs.
Yeah, there's been some some applications put in, but
Yeah.
we definitely need
There's a whole
Yeah,
process.
you got to build the whole.
more,
Yeah, you got to
yeah.
go through the district. It's a whole
Yeah,
thing,
yeah.
man. It's a whole thing.
I know.
But Shadow Hills is a good job. I mean,
Yeah.
like looking at the jobs that were available. That was
Yeah.
probably the premier job just because of the facilities and the kids you already had.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, geez, they went to the semis last year.
Yeah, I
so
mean-
I
it's
thought they
not-
were gonna make a deep,
yeah,
deep
we
run,
we were
man.
surprised when
Yeah.
they lost because they had a good team, man.
Yeah,
yeah.
Those guys. those
So I'm
guys could
excited
play. And
to
you got some
kind of-
good returners
Yeah,
coming back.
yeah.
So there's a lot on. They're not. Those cupboards
Yeah.
are not bare, man. You
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
a lot to work with. So that's exciting as a coach.
And it's a
Yeah.
beautiful stadium too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's probably one of the nicest in the valley.
Yeah, so
so-
I'm excited, man, just to get everybody involved.
Yeah.
The kids not only, but the parents, the
Yeah.
community, teachers, like, everybody.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
does take a lot. You can't
Yeah.
do it yourself, so it's
Yeah.
finding good people you can trust. Just everything you're saying is super important.
Yeah, it
so.
takes a village, but
Yeah.
that village has to be tight. That village has
Yeah,
to be good.
I know.
It's got to be positive.
Yeah. No fire in the
Yeah.
village.
Yeah.
Nobody's setting fires. In
I
the
know.
village. That's
Behind
what
your
you
back.
gotta- Exactly. That's what
Yeah.
you got to look out
Got to
for.
have some, positive relationships.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. For sure.
you know.
Taking a left turn. I know you. He just got the job, but you've been
Yeah.
around the game for the last, especially down here for the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
One topic we always like to talk about is the algorithm and the seeding for these playoffs, man. What is
Yeah.
what is your opinion on that? Are you like, because you're a younger guy, so
Yeah.
us older guys like to hear. You grew up
Yeah.
kind of more in the algorithm age. What's
Yeah.
your opinion on the new playoff system being algorithm based and
Yeah.
not as merit based as it used to be?
So I think we can kind of somewhat take a step back because our league's so good.
Yeah, correct.
Like,
Yeah,
and I know I think 4 teams went last year.
yeah.
Right.
Could have been 5.
Yeah.
Xavier had a good chance to
Yeah.
make it
Yeah.
too. But
Yeah. So I think just the bottom line is win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Win, and you don't have to worry about it. I'm not big on oh, we should have been in this division, or oh man, I wish we were in this division, or I think it kind of just speaks for itself. I think it ultimately it works out. you know. But yeah, I think just winning kind of solves some
Everything.
worry.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
Winning solves
Don't worry about
everything,
who's
right?
there, just beat them.
Yeah.
yeah. But for me, when I was playing, I was so in love with CIF. Like, I wanted to win CIF championship.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I didn't care about league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like we won league a lot in you know, football and basketball, but it wasn't like, oh my God, we needed it. But when playoffs started,
Yeah.
Mm.
like it was time.
Yeah.
You know, now obviously you don't have the luxury, especially with this league, of messing around
Right.
because you can miss it.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
so
Easily.
taking that
Easily.
league, so I think just not really looking at it from the standpoint of so much of rankings and stuff, but like each game just locking into that individual game of like, how can we win this game? What do we need to do to win this game?
Right.
You know, and not worry about, you know, what league or section,
Algorithms
you
or
know,
yeah.
and I know there's different ways to do it,
Yeah.
you know, but um I'm not gonna throw a game,
No.
you know,
For a
to get a
seeding.
seed or
Yeah.
Or play
you know,
someone
or play
easy.
somebody weak or
Yeah.
you know, if we're in a tough playoff division because we're good, I mean,
Line
that's
them
what
up.
it is,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know.
I like that.
So
Yeah. Line them up, man.
yeah,
Coming from a premier athlete over
Yeah,
here,
I
man.
mean,
that's how he played,
You
and that's
know,
how he's gonna coach,
yeah.
man.
less to worry about too. You just got to worry about winning.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
You
You
know.
hear a lot of different philosophies because of that now. Like there's guys that are
It's kinda
changing their
interesting.
schedule,
Yeah.
and there's guys that are, hey,
Yeah.
we should lose a game here or go
Yeah.
do your, it's
But we
like,
really figured it out, I think, I know it's different sport, but with basketball this year, you know, at Palm Springs, there was games where basically what we did is we felt we had a good chance of winning league. So all preseason and any games we played that wasn't league was tough.
mm,
Was
Yeah.
tough. So like this year they didn't have an amazing record, but um they they did a good job of playing, you know, tough teams. And the division that we went to, we should have won.
right.
You know, we ended up losing in LA this year on a buzzer beater,
Oh,
you know, in second round. But
Dang.
you know, if we win that, I think we're pretty good. So you know, I think playing tough teams rewards you.
I like it.
I do.
Yeah. That's
I
Armstrong's
do.
whole philosophy, man. He wanted to play the best,
Yeah.
makes you the best, and then we get to league, and then it's pretty easy to in league. 'Cause
Yeah.
you're just used to playing higher talent. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was one thing that really helped me when I was playing, uh, especially basketball, was we were always playing tough competition. So we were so used to tight games.
yeah.
We never like
Yeah. You don't want to have
got
your first. You don't
nervous
have
or
your
ever
first
got-
tight game in the playoffs,
yeah,
right?
we were, you know, we felt comfortable.
yeah,
And so that's kind of what I want to get with these kids is like, hey, get comfortable like in the fire.
mhm.
Yeah.
Like get comfortable when it's a third and short and it's, you know, the fourth quarter and we need to stop. You know,
Right.
you gotta be disciplined not to jump. You gotta be, you know, but you know, how can we get off the ball? How can someone's
Yep.
gotta make a play.
Yep.
Yeah.
Make a
Somebody
play.
we gotta
Who's gonna show
somebody's
up?
gonna do it.
Mhm.
Somebody got to step
You know.
up, man.
Yeah. So I think tougher competition is the way to go ultimately,
Yeah.
you know, but kids do need some confidence,
Yeah, for sure.
you know.
Yeah.
Side
So
note
I
on
think
that though,
balance.
playing tougher competition gives you really good guys, the guys that got a chance to play at the next level,
Yeah.
a lot of film to put out there, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because if you're playing subpar competition, you got some dudes that might be able to play at the next level.
Yeah.
You're sending recruiters those tapes of those subpar teams.
They
They're
look at
not
this-
even going to look at it.
Yeah, they
you
look
know?
at they look
They
at who
look
you're
at the
playing.
competition,
You know,
right?
they
For
look-
sure, man.
Yeah.
So that you're doing your best players a disservice by not
Yeah.
at least having one or two games against really good
Yeah.
competition.
Or vice versa, they're actually recruiting someone else on the other team because they're good, and
Yeah.
then you're one of your guys are standing out. Like, who
That's
is
actually
that kid?
Yeah.
that's actually how one of my good friends, Andy Keene, you know,
Mm.
at
Oh yeah,
lineman
yeah,
going
yeah,
to UCLA.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I had heard that he got
See?
looked.
Yeah, they were.
Because he was playing somebody that night that was supposed to be going there.
He's getting his ass kicked.
Whooped him.
That was-
He just whooped him.
Hey,
You know, and that caught the UCLA coach was like, okay,
who's this
We
guy?
want him.
Yeah, I don't care. I
He
don't
just-
Thanks
scratch
for the
this guy off
film.
the
Yeah.
list. I want this guy. The guy
Yeah.
who kicked his butt. You know,
See?
so
yeah,
the upside of playing good competition,
Yeah.
there's a lot of upside. So
Yeah.
I
It
think you got
happens.
the right philosophy, and
Yeah.
yeah,
it doesn't surprise me because you were a premier athlete. I mean, you play at the
Yeah.
professional level. You know, hey, we got to get to this. There's this standard that we got to get to.
Yeah.
And playing the teams that are not going to make us better is not acceptable.
Yeah.
Right. You want
Yeah.
every week to kind of make you better. So.
Yeah, and I think just getting everybody on the same page,
Mhm.
you know, letting parents know that,
Yeah.
you know, like we got to look at that. You know,
Yeah.
if we take a loss, like, don't freak out.
Yeah, there's a
You know,
process.
Yeah,
There's a
like, don't,
process
like,
here.
yeah,
I got a
don't,
plan.
you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I do know expectations. I do
It's
know
tough
what's,
sometimes.
you know,
You're
I
gonna
do
hear it
know.
in the,
Yeah.
Yeah.
what was
Yeah.
that, coach?
Hey, we're in a results-based business,
Yeah.
man. Ultimately, it's a results-based
We've all been
business.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
We've
part
all
of the
been
game.
there, man. I'm kind of running up against time here, Coach. But I know you're relatively new to the head coaching game, but you've been in the coaching space for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, you went through the process, and you're a young, up-and-coming, brilliant mind on the game. So
Yeah.
that we always ask our coaches, what would you tell the next generation coming up that maybe like thinking maybe the player that's getting to the end of his career and he wants to make the transition? What advice would you give to that player?
So I would say kind of lifestyle change. You know, I would kind of say like, if you do want to be good at something, unfortunately, you are gonna have to make a sacrifice.
Mhm.
So even myself going to the pros and just kind of being at Georgia and everything I viewed, like, you do have to be obsessed at some point if you want to go to the higher levels.
Yeah.
You know, so just that and just listening. You know, listening and the consistency of just being a good person and believing in like karma and just making sure that, you know, you're on the right track, you know, in life. And I think that's one of the things is, you know, everybody's so into social media.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's awesome, but sometimes there's stuff where the kids copy or try to emulate from social media and it's not
Mhm.
good.
Yeah.
That's not real.
Yeah.
You know, so I think just giving them like a good balance of um just life stuff, you know, but I think I would say to like the younger generation, like, just at the end of the day, like, you do have to just put your blinders on and work,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, because ultimately that's I've seen amazing, especially at Palm Springs, amazing athletes who should be in the league who do that, but just sometimes grades aren't good. Sometimes
Mhm.
they don't want to do the extra workouts. Sometimes, you know, they don't want to, you know, a lot of it too is emotional control, emotional regulation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You
Well, that's what
know,
they're learning in sports.
yeah,
That's a part of it. Yeah.
yeah. You know, if something goes wrong, like, you have to stay cool. You have to
Mhm.
remain calm. Like, what's the bigger picture?
Yeah.
You know, you do have to zoom out and not let an emotional decision at the time dictate a year or
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah. We saw it. Yeah.
We
You
saw it
know?
this year,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you want to teach them to channel it in the right way, you know.
Oh, yeah.
To channel it into the play within the rules. So I remember trying to teach some certain kids that too. So
Yeah, my
yeah.
big thing is, like, if you want to be good off the field, you have to be good. I mean, sorry, if you want to be good on the field, you have to
Mhm.
be good off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's true.
Like, that's just, you know, that's just the bottom line.
Yeah.
And so I kind of want to come at it from a college standpoint or like even like a pro standpoint of, even though they are in high school and they do have a lot of their life, you know, I do want to teach them lifestyle stuff,
Mhm.
you know, reading, journaling, like, you know, meditating, you know, the importance of just overall health,
Yeah.
you know, like how to be a good father, how to be a good brother, how to do all these things. Like, all of that is connected. And I feel if you do a better job of that, you'll be a pretty good football player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
Teaches them outside of football. Bigger than
Yeah.
football.
It is.
Bigger
There's
than
a bigger
football.
picture in
Bigger
sports.
than
Is,
football.
you can be
yeah.
successful if you don't make it.
Yeah,
Yep.
exactly.
league.
And the
know?
chances of that happening are very slim. So
Yeah.
So
For the
Yeah.
most of us.
well, you know, our job as coaches is creating good young men,
Yeah.
ready to be good men and able to deal with adversity in their lives because it's
Yeah.
all coming for us.
It's gonna come.
Yeah,
Mhm.
in any
There's no doubt
life,
about
man,
it.
it's all coming.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, you know you're a relatively new guy on the
Yeah,
scene. We want
yeah.
to welcome you to the community.
exciting.
We're gonna
Thank you,
we're gonna
yeah.
be rooting for you, man, because we want Shadow Hills to be, you know, what Shadow Hills has always been, and
Yeah.
even maybe exceed what they've been in the past. I know you
Yeah.
have a big job ahead of you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're rooting for you, man. You got a friend in the show, and you know we're
Yeah.
gonna be in your corner. Love to have you back in the preseason and talk about what you're seeing out there.
Yeah.
Come watch some games.
Yeah, we'll
Yeah,
definitely be
I
out there.
appreciate you guys having
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, we're
You know,
definitely
this was
want to
awesome
have you
experience.
back, and
Yeah.
bring it, when you see your team and have a little bit more, a little bit farther in the journey.
Yeah. We'll have a little bit deeper conversations and more to chop up.
Awesome, man. Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for coming in, Coach.
Yeah, thanks again for having me.
Yeah. So if you guys found some value, the routine. Like, subscribe, and follow. And we'll see you next time on Desert Valley Blitz.
Peace.